teacher ridicules black students' accent, unaware his father is a renowned linguist. In the bustling city of Atlanta, renowned wedding photographer Elijah Davis had cultivated a thriving career. With a portfolio bursting with captivating images, he had become a sought-after name in the industry, known for his unique perspective and artistic flair. Elijah's journey into the world of photography had not been straightforward. It was filled with obstacles and setbacks that shaped him into the professional he was today. From the very first moment he picked up a camera, he felt a magnetic pull toward the art form, a call that resonated with his creative soul. Over the years, he had learned not only to capture moments, but to tell stories through his lens, stories of love, resilience, and the human experience. Before we can continue, if you love your family, subscribe to this channel to help up creating amazing stories. Now, let's continue. Elijah's studio, a vibrant space adorned with framed photographs and accolades, served as a testament to his hard work and dedication. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, illuminating the room and casting a warm glow on the photographs displayed on the walls. Each image was a frozen moment in time, encapsulating the raw emotions of weddings he had documented. From joyous laughter to tender embraces, Elijah's photographs breathed life into the memories they represented. The space was filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee, and the faint sound of soft jazz played in the background, creating an atmosphere of creativity and inspiration. Despite his success, Elijah often felt the weight of an unspoken tension in his professional life. As a black photographer in a predominantly white industry, he grappled with biases that occasionally surfaced during client interactions. While he had earned respect for his artistic abilities, there were still moments when he felt like an outsider, overlooked in favor of others who fit a different mold. Elijah remembered an early experience where a potential client dismissed his work based on the color of his skin rather than the talent behind the camera. Incidents like that had stung deeply, leaving scars that would take time to heal. Yet, he channeled that pain into his work, determined to prove that talent transcended race. Elijah's latest project was a high-profile wedding for a couple who boasted a social media following that rivaled that of celebrities. He had spent weeks preparing for the event, poring over details with meticulous care. From scouting picturesque locations to mapping out a timeline that would ensure he captured every crucial moment, Elijah was ready to showcase his skills on an even bigger stage. The couple's wedding would take place at an opulent estate, complete with stunning gardens and an elegant reception hall that promised breathtaking backdrops for photographs. As the wedding date approached, excitement and anxiety intertwined in Elijah's chest. He reflected on the many weddings he had photographed, each presenting its unique challenges and triumphs. There was something undeniably magical about witnessing two people commit their lives to one another, surrounded by loved ones. In those moments, Elijah felt like more than just a photographer. He felt like a storyteller, weaving together narratives of love and connection that would be cherished for a lifetime. Yet, this wedding, with its extensive guest list and high expectations, felt different. It held the potential to further elevate his reputation, but it also intensified the pressure to deliver flawless results. On the day of the wedding, Elijah arrived at the venue early, ready to immerse himself in the celebratory atmosphere. As he stepped out of his car, he took a deep breath, letting the crisp morning air fill his lungs. The estate was breathtaking, with manicured gardens and a grand entrance that set the tone for the day. He was greeted by the wedding planner, a dynamic woman with a keen eye for detail. They exchanged pleasantries, and Elijah felt a wave of relief wash over him. The planner's enthusiasm for the event matched his own. As he made his way through the venue, however, he couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension. When he met the bride's family, he immediately sensed an undercurrent of tension. The mother of the bride, a stern woman with an air of authority, scrutinized him as he introduced himself. "So, you're the photographer," she said, her tone laced with skepticism. "I hope you know how to handle such an important event." Her dismissive comment felt like a punch to the gut, stirring up memories of past experiences where he was undermined because of his race. Elijah maintained a professional demeanor, but inside, his heart raced with a mix of frustration and determination. Throughout the preparations, Elijah kept his focus on the task at hand, capturing candid moments as the bridal party got ready. Despite the underlying tension, he was committed to doing his best work. Each click of the shutter became a small act of defiance against the doubts that were trying to creep in. Elijah was determined to prove himself, not just to the bride's family, but to himself as well. He reflected on the passion that ignited his love for photography and why he had chosen this path: to create art that resonates with people, regardless of their background. However, as he moved through the crowd, Elijah couldn't help but overhear the hushed comments from the bridal party. One particularly rude remark from a bridesmaid, suggesting they should have hired a real photographer, sent a wave of anger coursing through him. The implication that he was anything less than competent stung deeply, yet he pushed those feelings aside, channeling his energy into his work. Each photograph he took felt like a statement, a way to affirm his presence and talent in an industry that had too often overlooked him. In that moment, he realized that he was not just photographing a wedding, he was standing at a crossroads, challenging the preconceived notions about who could be a successful photographer. The stakes were high, and the weight of the moment pressed down on him, but Elijah was resolute. He was committed to capturing the essence of this couple's love story, and he would do so on his terms. His camera became an extension of his will, a tool through which he could express his artistry and defy the stereotypes that sought to define him. As the ceremony approached, Elijah prepared himself mentally for the challenge ahead. He had seen countless weddings unfold before his eyes, each unique in its own right, but this one felt monumental. The bride, radiant in her gown, would be the focal point of many photographs, and he wanted to capture her essence in a way that resonated with the love she felt. Yet, as he stood behind his camera, he felt the tension from the bride's family lingering like a cloud overhead. Elijah knew that the success of this wedding shoot could significantly impact his career, opening doors to new opportunities and clients. He envisioned his work being featured in prestigious wedding magazines and social media platforms filled with comments praising his talent. However, the thought of being judged by those who doubted him created a storm of anxiety within. He recognized that he was not just fighting for recognition but for respect in an industry that often overlooked the contributions of Black artists. The wedding ceremony commenced, and Elijah positioned himself strategically to capture the couple's vows. The air was thick with emotion as they exchanged promises of love and commitment. Just as he clicked the shutter to capture the bride's tearful gaze, he overheard another condescending remark from the father of the bride. "I hope this guy can actually get it right," he muttered to one of the groomsmen. This time, Elijah's heart sank, but he steadied himself, focusing on the couple before him. He realized that, despite the disrespect he faced, he had the power to redefine what success looked like on his terms. As the ceremony unfolded, Elijah took a deep breath and reminded himself of his purpose. He was not just there to take pictures. He was there to document a love story that deserved to be told with authenticity and grace. Each click of the shutter became a way to express his artistry, turning the challenges he faced into a powerful narrative. He captured not only the couple's joy, but also the underlying struggles that many artists of color faced in a predominantly white industry. Throughout the reception, Elijah found solace in his work, allowing the joy of the celebration to overshadow the negativity he had encountered earlier. He danced among the guests, capturing spontaneous moments of laughter and love. The energy in the room shifted. People were smiling, and the laughter echoed, creating an environment that felt alive. Elijah absorbed every moment, realizing that despite the earlier disrespect, he could create beauty that would speak for itself. As the evening progressed, Elijah felt a sense of pride swelling within him. He had faced the challenges head-on, turning potential obstacles into opportunities for creativity. With each photograph, he crafted a narrative that transcended the superficial judgments placed upon him. This was more than a wedding. It was a celebration of love that he had the privilege to witness and document. In this moment of clarity, Elijah understood that his comfort zone was no longer defined by the expectations of others. Instead, It was anchored in his passion for storytelling through photography and his unwavering determination to showcase the beauty of diverse love stories. He was ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that his talent could shine brightly, even in the face of adversity. As he packed up his equipment at the end of the night, Elijah felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. He had successfully navigated a day filled with challenges and negativity, emerging with stunning images that told a powerful story. Yet, the journey was far from over. The reflection of the day's events would shape his path forward, influencing the way he approached his work and the industry at large. Elijah was not just a wedding photographer. He was a pioneer, determined to carve out a space where artists of color could thrive and be celebrated for their contributions. With his heart full of hope and determination, Elijah left the venue, ready to face whatever came next. The night sky twinkled above him, and as he drove home, he couldn't help but feel that he was on the cusp of something greater, a movement toward inclusivity and recognition in the world of photography that he had long dreamed of. Elijah Davis stood at the precipice of his career, a moment that promised both opportunity and peril. As he reflected on his journey thus far, he couldn't shake the feeling that something significant was missing. Despite his successes, there was an insatiable longing within him, an urge to be recognized not just as a skilled photographer, but as an artist whose work resonated deeply with the experiences of those from diverse backgrounds. He yearned for his photographs to tell stories that reflected the multifaceted tapestry of love, identity, and culture, yet he often felt confined by the expectations placed upon him. From a young age, Elijah had been captivated by the art of storytelling. Growing up in a close-knit family, he was surrounded by narratives that shaped his understanding of the world. His grandmother, a talented storyteller, would gather the family around on chilly evenings to share tales of their ancestry, stories of struggle, resilience, and love that transcended generations. Elijah would listen intently, mesmerized by the way her words painted vivid images in his mind. It was in those moments that he discovered the power of narratives and the emotional connections they forged between people. As he grew older, Elijah found himself drawn to photography as a medium for storytelling. He often roamed the streets of Atlanta with his camera in hand, capturing candid moments of everyday life. From street performers to families enjoying the sunshine in the park, each photograph was an opportunity to document the beauty and complexity of the human experience. Yet, even as he honed his skills, he became acutely aware of the gaps in representation within the photography industry. He felt a pressing need to contribute to a more inclusive narrative that celebrated the diversity of love and life in all its forms. However, as he established himself as a wedding photographer, Elijah often encountered the harsh realities of an industry that, at times, favored convention over authenticity. The pressure to conform to established norms weighed heavily on him. He found himself in situations where clients would request the same posed shots seen in countless wedding magazines, ignoring the unique beauty of spontaneous moments that he cherished. While he understood the need to meet client expectations, he felt a growing frustration that his creative vision was often stifled by a desire for the perfect image. One evening, as Elijah reviewed his portfolio, he stumbled upon an old photograph he had taken during a community event celebrating Black culture. The image depicted a couple dancing joyfully, surrounded by friends and family who cheered them on. The pure, unfiltered joy captured in that moment resonated deeply with him. It was a reminder of the type of storytelling he longed to pursue, one that reflected the richness of diverse experiences rather than the glossy, idealized versions often presented in mainstream media. This realization ignited a fire within him, intensifying his desire to seek out clients who appreciated authenticity and wanted their stories told with depth and nuance. Yet, the challenge lay in finding those clients. The wedding industry often gravitated toward traditional narratives, and Elijah feared that breaking away from these conventions would risk alienating potential clients. The thought of being pigeonholed or dismissed due to his race haunted him. He recalled an incident during a wedding consultation when a prospective client had initially expressed excitement about his work, only to backtrack when they learned he was a Black photographer. The sting of that experience lingered, making him question whether he could ever fully realize his artistic vision within an industry that felt so restrictive. Determined to push past the barriers, Elijah began seeking out opportunities that aligned with his values. He connected with local organizations dedicated to celebrating Black artists and creators, hoping to find collaborations that would allow him to showcase his unique perspective. The more he immersed himself in these communities, the more he realized the power of representation. He met individuals who shared his passion for storytelling, each with their own distinct narratives that demanded to be heard. In their company, Elijah felt a sense of belonging, a feeling that his experiences and artistry were valid and necessary. Despite these positive experiences, there was a constant battle within him. Elijah grappled with the dichotomy of wanting to succeed in a mainstream industry while also desiring to forge his own path, one that honored the stories of marginalized communities. This internal struggle often left him feeling torn, caught between the desire for acceptance and the need for authenticity. Each time he received praise for his work, a shadow of doubt crept in. Was he being celebrated for his talent or simply for fitting into a certain mold? The upcoming wedding of the high-profile couple was a pivotal moment for Elijah. He saw it as an opportunity to break free from the confines of his comfort zone and showcase his artistic vision to a wider audience. However, the weight of expectations hung heavy on his shoulders. He wanted to impress the couple, their families, and the guests, all while staying true to himself. The pressure felt insurmountable. It was a crossroads where he could either conform to the prevailing narrative or carve out a new one that resonated with his identity. As the wedding date drew closer, Elijah found himself reflecting on what recognition truly meant. It wasn't just about accolades or social media likes. It was about creating work that would endure, that would speak to the hearts of those who viewed it. He thought about the couples he had photographed in the past, those who had trusted him to capture their unique stories, and how their love had inspired him to dig deeper into his craft. Elijah yearned for his photographs to resonate on a deeper level, conveying not just moments of joy, but also the challenges and triumphs that define the human experience. He envisioned a world where his work could contribute to a more comprehensive narrative, one that honored the beauty of diverse relationships and showcased the realities of love across different cultures. Elijah began to formulate a plan for how he would approach the upcoming wedding. He wanted to capture moments that felt genuine and unfiltered, to convey the essence of the couple's love rather than simply documenting a series of events. He envisioned shots of candid laughter, whispered secrets, and the joyful chaos that often accompanies weddings. The thought of doing so filled him with excitement and nervous anticipation. In his mind, Elijah also pictured the guests, many of whom might not have seen a Black photographer at such a prestigious event before. He wanted to challenge their perceptions and expectations, to present himself as a legitimate artist capable of capturing the magic of love, regardless of race. This wedding would be his canvas, a chance to blend his artistic vision with the raw emotions of the day. As he prepared for the event, Elijah sought inspiration from other photographers who had successfully carved their own paths in the industry. He researched artists who focused on storytelling, individuals who highlighted marginalized voices, and created a space for authenticity within their work. He found himself particularly drawn to the work of photographers who documented everyday life in Black communities, capturing the beauty and complexity of their narratives. Their stories resonated with him and reaffirmed his belief that every experience deserved to be celebrated and shared. With renewed purpose, Elijah delved into planning for the wedding, determined to craft a shooting style that reflected both his artistic vision and the couple's love story. He wanted to move beyond the confines of traditional wedding photography and embrace a more organic approach. He envisioned himself weaving through the crowd, capturing fleeting moments that encapsulated the joy of the day, the laughter of children, the tears of happiness from family members, and the blissful glances shared between the couple. Yet, the nagging voice of doubt still whispered in the back of his mind. What if he failed to meet the expectations set by the couple and their families? What if they didn't appreciate his artistic vision and preferred the conventional poses? The thought of disappointing them was enough to send a wave of anxiety coursing through him. He took a moment to breathe deeply, reminding himself that he was capable, that he had honed his craft over years of hard work and dedication. He had a unique perspective that was valuable, and this wedding was an opportunity to showcase that. In the days leading up to the wedding, Elijah began to visualize the moments he wanted to capture. He made a detailed shot list, mapping out the key events he felt were essential to document while leaving room for spontaneity. He reached out to the couple, eager to learn more about their story and the elements that held significance for T. This connection fueled his desire to create images that felt personal and meaningful. Elijah also took time to engage in self-reflection, exploring the motivations behind his artistic journey. He considered the societal barriers he faced as a Black photographer and how they had shaped his understanding of success. He grappled with the reality that recognition often came with strings attached, sometimes requiring him to compromise his artistic integrity to fit a particular narrative. Yet, he was resolute in his commitment to remain authentic to his vision, no matter the obstacles. As the wedding day approached, he felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. This event had the potential to be a turning point in his career, a moment that could propel him into a new realm of recognition and respect. Yet, he also recognized that this desire for validation was not the sole driving force behind his work. It was the stories he longed to tell, the connections he wished to foster, and the impact he hoped to create that fueled his passion for photography. The anticipation of the wedding hung in the air, filled with possibilities. Elijah's heart raced at the thought of stepping onto that stage, armed with his camera, ready to capture a celebration of love that transcended societal boundaries. He envisioned himself not just as a photographer, but as a chronicler of the couple's story, a storyteller weaving together moments of joy, vulnerability, and beauty. As he settled into the rhythm of preparation, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was more than just a job, it was a chance to challenge the status quo, and the day of the wedding dawned bright and clear, the sun spilling its golden light over Atlanta, casting a warm glow on the bustling streets. Elijah Davis awoke early, feeling a mix of exhilaration and nerves churning in his stomach. Today was not just another job, it was a pivotal moment in his career, an opportunity to capture the beauty of love through his unique lens. He dressed meticulously, donning his favorite black shirt and tailored pants, clothes that made him feel confident yet comfortable, the perfect combination for a day that promised both creativity and challenges. As he gathered his gear, his beloved camera, a selection of lenses, and an assortment of backup batteries, he reflected on the couple he was about to photograph. They were a vibrant, mixed-race couple who had chosen to celebrate their union in a grand, multicultural ceremony, highlighting their unique backgrounds and shared love. The thought of documenting such a rich tapestry of culture inspired him. It felt as though he was about to embark on an artistic journey that would transcend mere wedding photography. He couldn't help but wonder how their love story would unfold and how he could best encapsulate their essence through his images. Arriving at the venue, a stunning historic mansion with sprawling gardens, Elijah took a moment to soak in the atmosphere. The manicured lawns, adorned with colorful flowers, served as a picturesque backdrop for the festivities. As he stepped inside the venue, he was immediately enveloped by the excited buzz of wedding preparations. Wedding planners flitted around like busy bees, ensuring every detail was perfect. Elijah exchanged friendly nods with the other vendors, feeling a sense of camaraderie that calmed his nerves. Yet, he was also acutely aware of the expectations looming over him. He wanted to impress not only the couple but also their families and friends who had gathered to celebrate this momentous occasion. As he began to set up his equipment, Elijah's heart raced with anticipation. He felt the familiar adrenaline surge that came with the thrill of capturing real-life moments. He was eager to explore every corner of the venue, to discover the intimate spaces where love stories could unfold. He wandered through the beautifully decorated rooms, envisioning the shots he could take, the laughter of the bridal party getting ready, the quiet moments of reflection before the ceremony, the exuberance of friends and family mingling as they awaited the couple's arrival. Each scene painted a vivid picture in his mind, fueling his creativity and igniting his passion for storytelling. He made his way to the bridal suite, where the bride and her attendants were preparing for the ceremony. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and joyful anticipation. As Elijah stepped inside, he was greeted by the bride, a radiant woman with a warm smile that lit up the room. She welcomed him with open arms, expressing her excitement about having him as their photographer. Elijah felt a rush of gratitude wash over him. Her enthusiasm reassured him that he was where he belonged. It was moments like these that reaffirmed his belief in the power of authentic connections. He began capturing candid shots of the bride and her friends as they sipped champagne and shared stories. The laughter echoed through the suite, a beautiful prelude to the love story that was about to unfold. Elijah skillfully maneuvered through the room, capturing the natural interactions between the women, the playful teasing, the heartfelt hugs, the radiant glow of happiness on the bride's face as she slipped into her wedding gown. Each click of his camera felt like a brushstroke on a canvas, building the narrative he hoped to convey. As the bride prepared to step into her dress, Elijah found himself momentarily overwhelmed by the gravity of the occasion. This was not just a job, it was a sacred moment in which he would bear witness to the profound emotions of love and commitment. He took a deep breath, reminding himself of the significance of his role as a storyteller. He was not just documenting a wedding, he was capturing the essence of a life-changing event that would shape the couple's future. This perspective invigorated him, and he continued to shoot, fully immersed in the energy of the moment. Once the bride was ready, Elijah followed her and the bridal party to the outdoor ceremony area. The setting was breathtaking, with vibrant flowers lining the aisle and the mansion serving as a stunning backdrop. Guests began to arrive, filling the seats with smiles and laughter, creating a sense of community that warmed Elijah's heart. As he moved through the crowd, he greeted familiar faces and felt a sense of belonging. It was comforting to know that this wedding was not just about the couple. It was about uniting families, celebrating love in all its forms, and embracing the richness of cultural diversity. As the ceremony began, Elijah focused intently on capturing the significant moments, the groom's anticipation as he awaited his bride, the tears of joy glistening in the eyes of family members, and the tender exchange of vows. The couple's love radiated through the air, and Elijah felt honored to be a part of it. He found himself lost in the beauty of their connection, witnessing the way they gazed at one another as if the rest of the world had faded away. In those moments, he captured the raw emotion and authenticity that had become his trademark. The couple incorporated elements from both of their cultures into the ceremony, a beautiful fusion that celebrated their identities and shared love. Elijah deftly moved between angles, ensuring he documented not only the couple's vows but also the cultural rituals that held deep significance for them. He felt an overwhelming sense of joy as he captured the unity of their families, each person adding a layer to the vibrant narrative unfolding before him. The sounds of laughter, music, and heartfelt words blended harmoniously, creating a symphony of love that echoed in his heart. As the ceremony drew to a close, Elijah felt a swell of satisfaction. He had managed to capture the essence of the day, weaving together moments that reflected the couple's love story and the warmth of their community. But he knew that the day was far from over. The reception awaited, a bustling celebration filled with energy and excitement. As guests mingled and laughter erupted, Elijah prepared to transition into a different phase of the day, one that would showcase the joy and exuberance of the celebration. Once the couple was pronounced husband and wife, Elijah eagerly followed them into the reception area. The atmosphere shifted, transforming into a vibrant celebration of love and community. Guests greeted the newlyweds with cheers and applause, showering them with confetti and heartfelt well wishes. Elijah felt a rush of adrenaline as he navigated through the crowd, capturing the joyous reactions of family and friends, the laughter, and the unfiltered moments of joy. He was determined to convey the spirit of the celebration, the sense of unity that enveloped the room. The reception was a stunning spectacle, adorned with colorful decorations and filled with delicious food that reflected both families' cultures. As guests settled into their seats, Elijah seized the opportunity to capture the details, The intricate centerpieces, the vibrant table settings, and the genuine smiles that adorned the faces of family members. Each shot was a chance to tell a deeper story, one that encapsulated the essence of the couple's journey and the love that surrounded them. As the evening progressed, Elijah captured heartfelt speeches filled with love, laughter, and even a few tears. Friends and family took turns sharing stories that brought the couple's relationship to life, showcasing the unique quirks and beautiful moments that had defined their love. Elijah skillfully moved through the crowd, weaving in and out, capturing the genuine reactions of the guests as they laughed, cried, and cheered for the newlyweds. He felt a surge of inspiration, recognizing that every story shared added another layer to the tapestry of love being woven that night. Finally, as the couple took to the dance floor for their first dance, Elijah positioned himself strategically to capture the intimate moment. The lights dimmed, and a hush fell over the crowd as the couple swayed gently to their chosen song. The love radiating between them was palpable, and Elijah felt privileged to witness it. He snapped photos, capturing their tender glances and the joy that enveloped them. It was a moment of pure magic, and he knew it would resonate with anyone who viewed the images long after the night had ended. The dance floor soon transformed into a lively celebration as guests joined in, dancing and celebrating together. Elijah's camera clicked away, documenting the infectious energy and laughter that filled the room. He felt a profound sense of joy as he observed families coming together, dancing, and celebrating the union of two souls. Each photograph he captured was a testament to the power of love, a celebration of diversity, acceptance, and the beauty of shared experiences. As the evening wore on, Elijah found himself stepping back for a moment to take it all in. The laughter, the love, and the connections being forged in that space were remarkable. He felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him, knowing that he was a part of something bigger, a celebration of love that transcended boundaries and embraced the richness of human connection. In that moment, he realized that he was not just a photographer but a vessel for storytelling, capturing moments that would live on in the hearts of those present. As the reception began to wind down, Elijah made his way to the couple, eager to congratulate them on their beautiful day. They greeted him with radiant smiles, their joy infectious. The bride expressed her gratitude for his ability to capture the essence of their love story, and the groom chimed in, praising Elijah for his creativity and professionalism. In that moment, Elijah felt an overwhelming sense of validation. He had succeeded in creating images that resonated with the couple, and that was the ultimate reward. As the night came to a close, Elijah packed up his equipment, his heart full of memories and stories. He felt grateful for the opportunity to witness such a beautiful celebration of love. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, he reflected on the day, every laugh, every tear, and every moment of connection. The couple's wedding had been more than just a job. It had been a celebration of love, culture, and community, a true testament to the beauty of human connection. Elijah knew that the images he had captured would serve as cherished memories for the couple and their families, a visual narrative that would continue to resonate for years to come. As he drove home, he felt a renewed sense of purpose and inspiration. Each wedding he documented added a layer to his artistic journey, allowing him to grow and evolve as a storyteller. He was eager to edit the photos, bringing the beauty of the day to life in a way that honored the couple's unique love story. In his heart, he knew that each click of the shutter was more than just a photo. It was a moment frozen in time, a piece of history that would forever hold the essence of love. As the evening unfolded, Elijah Davis found himself immersed in a whirlwind of joyous celebration, but beneath the surface of the festivities lay an undercurrent of challenge that he had yet to fully confront. While he reveled in the beauty of the wedding, he also felt a palpable tension as he navigated the complexities of being a Black photographer in a predominantly white industry. The realities of microaggressions and implicit biases hovered in the back of his mind, threatening to overshadow the magic of the day. With every click of the shutter, Elijah could not shake the feeling of being an outsider, even in a joyous setting filled with laughter and love. As he moved through the throngs of guests, he was hyper-aware of the glances that followed him, some curious, others judgmental. He couldn't help but recall moments from previous weddings where he had felt marginalized or underestimated because of his race. Despite his extensive portfolio and reputation as a celebrity photographer, the subtle, dismissive comments from family members and guests lingered like shadows. "Who hired the photographer?" he overheard one guest whisper to another, her tone dripping with skepticism. "Is he really qualified to capture such an important day?" The words pierced through the lively chatter of the reception, echoing in Elijah's mind. He fought against the urge to confront the guest. Instead, he took a deep breath and reminded himself of the love and connection that this day represented. He was here to document a story, and he was determined to do so with passion and creativity, regardless of the biases he faced. Elijah decided to refocus his energy on the moments unfolding around him, channeling his emotions into his art. He moved to the dance floor, where the music pulsed through the air, enveloping guests in a joyous rhythm. Couples spun and twirled, friends laughed and celebrated, and for a brief moment, Elijah allowed himself to get lost in the music. As he danced with his camera, capturing candid moments of joy, he reminded himself of the beauty of what he was doing. He had the power to immortalize memories that would be cherished for generations. Amidst the celebration, however, the challenges began to surface. As the evening progressed, Elijah realized that he had lost sight of some key moments he wanted to capture. The couple had planned a series of special dances, first with their parents, then with their closest friends, but in the frenzy of the party, he had missed a few of these pivotal moments. His heart raced with frustration. He prided himself on being detail-oriented and capturing every significant aspect of a wedding. The pressure to perform perfectly weighed heavily on his shoulders. Elijah quickly recalibrated his approach. He needed to be more intentional, to establish a system that would allow him to anticipate and capture crucial moments without getting swept away by the party's energy. He began to observe the ebb and flow of the guests, paying close attention to their movements and interactions. By setting up strategic positions and keeping an eye on the couple, he felt better equipped to react quickly when the time came for those essential moments. With renewed determination, Elijah positioned himself near the couple's parents as they prepared for their first dance with their children. The atmosphere shifted as the couples took center stage, and he prepared himself to capture the love and emotion that accompanied these moments. The music swelled, and he felt a surge of excitement as he clicked away, freezing the expressions of pride and love that adorned the faces of the parents. His lens became a bridge, connecting the past and present, encapsulating the deep bonds that held their families together. As the night wore on, Elijah began to notice the dynamics of the guests around him. He observed the way friends supported one another, lifting each other up in moments of joy and laughter. It reminded him of the importance of community and the bonds that formed through shared experiences. With each snapshot, he could see the love that radiated from the couple's friends and family, a beautiful reflection of the couple's journey. He was no longer just an outsider. He was an integral part of this celebration, capturing the joy that surrounded him. Yet, even as he adapted and found his footing, Elijah faced moments of doubt. He could still hear the whispering critiques in the back of his mind, reminding him of the biases he had encountered in the past. As the night continued, he overheard more comments that felt like sharp thorns to his pride. "I wonder if they got him on a discount." One woman laughed, her voice dripping with condescension. "He probably doesn't have any real experience." The sting of her words cut deep, but Elijah took a moment to breathe and center himself. He reminded himself of his journey, the years of hard work, the late nights spent editing photos, the countless weddings he had captured with love and precision. His clients loved him not just for his talent, but for his ability to tell stories through images. The woman's comments didn't define him. He was so much more than her perception. To combat these negative thoughts, Elijah reached for a different perspective. Instead of allowing the negativity to consume him, he embraced the challenge as an opportunity for growth. He decided to transform his vulnerability into strength. He began to approach guests with confidence, engaging them in conversation, and sharing his vision for capturing their loved ones' special moments. By breaking down the barriers that had initially made him feel like an outsider, he found a new sense of belonging within the community. During the reception, Elijah took the time to engage with family members and friends, capturing their stories and perspectives about the couple. He asked them about their favorite memories of the newlyweds, allowing them to share personal anecdotes that highlighted the love the couple had cultivated over the years. Each interaction deepened his understanding of the couple's journey and allowed him to infuse their story into his work. This personal touch enhanced his images, creating a richer narrative that resonated beyond the surface. As the night progressed, Elijah's confidence grew, and so did his connection with the guests. He found himself laughing and dancing alongside them, embodying the joy that permeated the celebration. He realized that while he had come to the wedding as a photographer, he had also found a community, people who were passionate about love, family, and connection. The energy in the room was infectious, and with every click of his camera, he felt more and more empowered. Elijah soon found himself in a conversation with the bride's mother, a lovely woman with a warm smile and an open heart. She expressed her gratitude for Elijah's presence, recounting how nervous she had been about the photography for the day. "I just wanted someone who would truly capture the essence of my daughter and her love," she said, her eyes glistening with emotion. "When I saw your portfolio, I knew you were the right choice." Her words resonated deeply within Elijah. This was why he had pursued photography in the first place, to connect with people and share their stories through his lens. In that moment, he felt the weight of the earlier comments begin to lift. He was not defined by the whispers of doubt, but rather by the genuine connections he was forging. He reminded himself that the opinions of a few could not overshadow the impact he was making in the lives of so many. Emboldened by the support he received, Elijah decided to take on a new challenge. He wanted to push himself to capture moments that went beyond the expected shots of the couple. He began to explore the fringes of the reception, capturing candid interactions between guests and the heartfelt exchanges that took place in quieter corners. He knew that some of the most profound moments often occurred away from the spotlight: soft whispers, shared laughter, and unexpected tears of joy. As the night wore on, he discovered a family table where the groom's elderly grandmother sat, her eyes sparkling as she watched the festivities unfold. Elijah felt drawn to her warmth and decided to approach her. As he gently introduced himself, she shared stories of her own wedding many decades ago, recounting tales of love, loss, and resilience. Her words painted a vivid picture of a life filled with rich experiences, and Elijah found himself captivated by her wisdom. He captured candid photos of her laughter and joy, knowing that these images would serve as cherished memories for the couple and their families. As he clicked the shutter, he felt a sense of purpose wash over him. He was not just documenting a wedding, he was preserving the legacy of love that spanned generations. In that moment, he understood that the stories he captured transcended time, connecting the past, present, and future. However, as the night drew to a close, Elijah couldn't ignore the exhaustion that settled in. He had poured his heart and soul into capturing every detail, but the weight of the day's challenges still lingered. The emotional toll of navigating biases, alongside the demands of his work, began to wear on him. He needed a moment to recharge, to step away from the chaos and find solitude amidst the celebration. Finding a quiet corner of the venue, Elijah took a deep breath, allowing the weight of the day to settle. He closed his eyes for a moment, grounding himself in the sounds of laughter and music that echoed from the reception. It was easy to get lost in the whirlwind of expectations, but he reminded himself of the power of resilience. He had faced challenges before, and he had emerged stronger each time. This wedding was no different. It was another chapter in his journey. As he opened his eyes, Elijah felt a renewed sense of purpose. He returned to the festivities, ready to embrace the remaining moments of the celebration. He focused on capturing the essence of the night, the energy of the dance floor, the laughter of friends, and the joy radiating from the couple. He poured his heart into each frame, and with every click of the shutter, he transformed the challenges he faced into opportunities for growth. By the end of the evening, Elijah realized that he had not only adapted to the unfamiliar, he had thrived in it. He had taken on the complexities of being a Black photographer in a predominantly white industry and turned those challenges into stepping stones for personal and professional growth. The biases he faced had fueled his passion for storytelling, driving him to capture moments with depth and authenticity. As the final song played and guests began to gather their belongings, Elijah felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had successfully documented a day filled with love, laughter, and connection, and he had done it on his terms. He had transformed the discomfort of being an outsider into a sense of belonging, and he knew that his experience would only enrich his work in the future. With a heart full of gratitude, Elijah packed up his equipment and said his goodbyes to the couple and their families. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, he reflected on the journey of the day. It had been a celebration of love, but it had also been a powerful reminder of the strength that comes from resilience and adaptation. Elijah was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, knowing that he had emerged from this unfamiliar situation not just as a photographer but as a storyteller and a member of a vibrant community. As the evening progressed and the dance floor began to pulse with energy, Elijah Davis felt a sense of exhilaration wash over him. He had worked tirelessly to capture the essence of the wedding, and in many ways, he believed he was achieving that goal. The laughter, the joyous cheers, and the heartfelt exchanges had all come together in a beautiful tapestry of moments that he had immortalized through his lens. Each click of the shutter felt like a step closer to fulfilling his mission, and he reveled in the thrill of his craft. The couple, Emily and Jack, moved gracefully across the floor, their smiles beaming with love and happiness. Elijah was thrilled to see their joy reflected in the images he had captured. He had made sure to photograph their first dance, the tender moments shared with family, and the lively interactions with friends. The images began to form a narrative, and he could already envision the album layout in his mind, a collection of images that would tell the story of this beautiful day for generations to come. As he stepped back to review some of the shots on his camera, Elijah felt a rush of satisfaction. The photos were stunning, infused with emotion and energy. Each frame radiated the warmth and connection of the couple and their loved ones. "This is it," he thought. "This is what I wanted." He could almost feel the accolades and praise flowing in from clients and peers alike, acknowledging his talent and the depth of his work. For a moment, he lost himself in the fantasy of recognition and success, forgetting the earlier doubts and whispers. In that euphoric state, Elijah took a deep breath, allowing himself to bask in the glow of accomplishment. However, just as he was savoring the moment, an unexpected interruption jolted him back to reality. A group of guests, perhaps unaware of the artistic vision he had been curating, approached him with requests for photos that he had not anticipated. "Can you take a picture of us over here?" one woman exclaimed, pointing to a brightly lit corner of the venue, her friends already striking poses. At first, Elijah felt the thrill of being needed and sought after, so he quickly agreed. The joy and enthusiasm of the group were infectious, and he wanted to capture their excitement. But as he stepped into their circle, a wave of anxiety washed over him. He realized that taking these photos might divert his attention from capturing the more intimate moments he had planned. He was torn between the desire to please the guests and the urgency to capture the heart of the celebration. The energy of the group was palpable, laughter echoing as he snapped shots of them jumping, dancing, and posing. He felt a rush of adrenaline as he documented their joy, but a nagging doubt crept in. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was losing focus on the couple and their story. While he was capturing fleeting moments of happiness, he was becoming increasingly aware of the critical moments he was neglecting, the couple's interactions, the emotional exchanges with family, and the quieter, candid moments that defined their love. Despite his internal struggle, Elijah continued to click away, feeding into the moment. As he reviewed the images on his camera, he saw the joy radiating from the group and felt a sense of accomplishment. "I'm giving them what they want," he told himself, rationalizing that these candid shots would be a valuable addition to the collection. He reassured himself that capturing these happy moments was part of the job and that the couple would appreciate the diversity of shots in their album. But as the hours wore on, the thrill of this false victory began to dissipate. Elijah felt the creeping dread of having missed vital moments in favor of entertaining guests. The reality of his earlier doubts resurfaced, echoing louder than before. He had strayed from his initial vision, sacrificing the emotional core of the wedding in pursuit of pleasing everyone else. The weight of that realization settled heavily on his shoulders as he glanced at the clock, which seemed to taunt him with the passing time. It wasn't long before the couple approached him, their faces flushed with joy, but also with a hint of concern. "Elijah, have you gotten the shots we talked about?" Emily asked, her eyes searching his. There was a nervous energy in her voice that made Elijah's stomach twist. In that moment, he understood what was at stake. This wasn't just a job for him, it was a significant milestone in their lives, and he needed to deliver. "Yes, of course. I've captured so many great moments," he replied, forcing a smile. Yet inside, he felt a knot tightening in his chest. He hadn't gotten everything he wanted. The thought haunted him. He had neglected the very heart of the wedding in favor of superficial images that wouldn't tell their true story. In an attempt to salvage the situation, Elijah quickly suggested that they step outside for some more intimate shots under the stars. "Let's capture a few romantic moments away from the crowd," he said, eager to regain focus on the couple. Emily and Jack exchanged relieved glances, and Elijah felt a glimmer of hope. This was his chance to turn the tide, to create images that resonated with the depth of their love. Stepping outside, they were met by the cool evening air and a sky filled with twinkling stars. Elijah positioned them against a backdrop of softly glowing fairy lights that adorned the venue. As they embraced and whispered sweet nothings into each other's ears, Elijah felt a renewed sense of purpose. He began to capture the genuine affection that passed between them, the way their eyes sparkled with love and laughter. Clicking the shutter, he saw magic unfold before him. The light danced around them, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that captured the essence of their connection. This was what he had longed for, intimate moments that revealed the heart of their love story. He let himself get lost in the process, moving around them to find the best angles, the best light, all while encouraging them to be present with one another. As the couple became more comfortable in front of the camera, their laughter rang out into the night. Each click of the shutter brought him closer to the emotional core he had been striving to capture throughout the evening. He began to feel the pressure of earlier moments dissipate, replaced by a surge of confidence and creativity. He was no longer a mere vendor. He was an artist telling their story through the lens. But just as Elijah started to bask in the success of these intimate shots, a familiar voice broke through the moment. A member of the wedding party, clearly intoxicated, stumbled outside and interrupted. "What's going on here? You guys are supposed to be dancing, not standing around posing for the camera," she slurred, laughter spilling from her lips. Elijah's heart sank. He felt the excitement and intimacy of the moment slip away as the couple looked toward the intruder, their expressions shifting from joy to annoyance. He could see the disappointment in their eyes as they glanced back at him, and his stomach churned. The woman's comment had shattered the atmosphere he had worked so hard to create. He tried to regain control of the moment, redirecting the couple's attention back to each other, but the spell had been broken. Emily and Jack exchanged glances, and the connection that had flowed so easily moments before was now clouded with uncertainty. Elijah felt as if he was losing them again, the weight of his earlier decisions pressing heavily on him. The triumph he had felt just moments ago felt hollow, like a mirage that had faded too quickly. Despite the setback, he pressed on, capturing a few more shots, but he could sense the tension in the air. The magic of the evening had been punctured, and Elijah was left grappling with the realization that while he had captured many images, the true essence of the couple's love was still just out of reach. He could hear the laughter and joy echoing from inside the venue, but it felt distant, as if he was watching through a glass wall. Once again, he thought of the earlier comments, the doubts that had clouded his mind throughout the day. He had wanted to impress not just the couple but also their families and friends, to prove that he was a worthy photographer despite the stereotypes and assumptions he faced. Yet in his pursuit of validation, he had veered off course, sacrificing the authenticity of their story for a fleeting moment of approval. With a heavy heart, Elijah made the decision to take the couple aside once more. He gathered his thoughts, realizing that they needed reassurance, not just another set of posed photographs. "Let's take a moment to breathe and reconnect," he suggested, trying to refocus their energy. He encouraged them to share their favorite memories of each other, hoping that the conversation would reignite the spark that had illuminated their earlier moments. As they spoke, Elijah listened intently, feeling the warmth of their connection return. He absorbed their words, using them to guide his next shots. He moved closer, capturing candid moments as they reminisced about their relationship, laughing and leaning into each other. This was the heart of the story he had been striving to tell: two people deeply in love, sharing their journey with one another. But as he clicked away, Elijah felt the weight of disappointment linger in the back of his mind. He had come so far but was haunted by the fear that he had still not fully succeeded. The struggle between his desire for recognition and his commitment to authenticity waged war within him. He wanted to be seen not just as a photographer, but as a storyteller who could capture the soul of a moment. As the couple wrapped up their memories and returned to the reception, Elijah felt a renewed sense of determination. He was not finished yet. There was still time to reclaim the evening, to recapture the narrative he had almost lost. He followed them back inside, ready to focus on the heart of the celebration. As he resumed his position among the guests, he decided to shift his approach. Instead of catering to the louder voices demanding their attention, he began to hone in on the subtle, genuine moments that often go unnoticed: the quiet exchanges between family members, the elderly relatives wiping away tears, the best friends sharing knowing smiles across the room. Elijah began to feel that he was truly stepping into his role as a photographer, not just taking pictures, but observing the intricate dance of relationships unfolding around him. He captured the elderly couple dancing slowly, hands entwined, their love story still alive after decades. He documented the bride's sister sharing a heartfelt toast, her voice shaking with emotion. These were the moments that conveyed the true essence of the day, the connections that bound everyone together in celebration of love. As the evening drew to a close and the lights dimmed, Elijah found himself filled with a sense of pride. Despite the earlier setbacks and the doubts that had plagued him, he had rediscovered his purpose. The photos he had taken began to weave together a story that was not just about Emily and Jack, but about the entire community that had gathered to support and love them. When he finally packed up his gear, he felt a wave of fulfillment wash over him. The day had been a roller coaster of emotions, but through it all, he had stayed true to his craft. He had navigated the challenges of the night, adapting to the shifting dynamics and ultimately capturing the heart of the celebration. As he said his goodbyes to the couple and their families, they expressed their heartfelt gratitude for his work. "We can't wait to see the photos," Emily exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. In that moment, Elijah felt a surge of validation. Despite the hurdles he had faced, he had delivered what they had truly wanted: authentic moments that captured the essence of their love and the joy of their wedding day. But beneath that sense of victory lingered a deeper truth. Elijah had learned that the pursuit of approval could often lead him astray. What he truly wanted was not just recognition, but to tell stories that mattered, to create images that resonated with the depths of human experience. And while he had succeeded in capturing beautiful moments that evening, he also understood that the journey was far from over. As he drove away from the venue, the cool night air rushing through the open windows, Elijah felt a sense of clarity settle over him. He had learned a vital lesson about staying true to his vision, even in the face of outside pressures. With every challenge he faced, he knew he would emerge stronger, more dedicated to his craft, and more connected to the stories that needed to be told. As Elijah Davis sat in his car, staring out at the fading lights of the wedding venue, he felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The chaos of the evening had transformed into a profound understanding of his craft and the essence of connection that underpins it. He had witnessed a beautiful celebration of love and unity, but more importantly, he had experienced firsthand the challenges of navigating a role that required both artistic vision and emotional sensitivity. The ride home was quiet, but Elijah's mind raced with reflections on the day. He replayed the moments in his head, analyzing where he had excelled and where he could improve. The images he had captured flooded his memory. Emily and Jack lost in their own world, the laughter of their friends, the tender exchanges between family members. Each shot resonated with the love and joy of the occasion, yet he also recognized the moments he had nearly missed while getting caught up in the expectations of others. In the comfort of his own space, Elijah began to process the lessons learned throughout the day. He had entered the wedding with a set of expectations for himself, to capture the magic of the day while adhering to his artistic vision. However, as the evening unfolded, he realized that those expectations had been clouded by the desire to appease others. It was a balancing act, one that required him to adapt on the fly without losing sight of what truly mattered, the connections between people and the emotions that flowed from them. He pulled into his driveway, parked the car, and took a deep breath before stepping out. As he made his way inside, he was met with the familiar comfort of his home, a sanctuary where he could reflect and recharge. He brewed a cup of tea and settled into his favorite chair, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating the pages of his notebook that lay open on the coffee table. Flipping through the pages, he noticed the notes he had taken during his earlier reflection sessions, capturing thoughts about the nature of connection and how it influenced his work. He remembered writing about the importance of authenticity, not just in the images he captured, but in the relationships he built with his clients. For the first time, he felt the need to internalize these lessons, to let them guide him in the future. Elijah's thoughts drifted to the couple's wedding day, the anticipation in the air as Emily walked down the aisle, the smiles exchanged during the vows, and the unfiltered joy that erupted during the first dance. These were moments steeped in emotion, moments that could not be replicated or staged. They were raw, real, and most importantly, connected to the very essence of who the couple was. It was in those fleeting moments that he found the power of connection. He began to jot down his reflections, capturing the essence of what he had experienced. Connection, he wrote, is the lifeblood of photography. It is not merely about clicking a shutter, but about forging relationships with the subjects, understanding their stories, and immersing oneself in their experiences. This realization struck a chord within him. It was a reminder that his role was not just to document events, but to be a part of the narrative, one that celebrated love, joy, and human connection. The more he reflected, the more he understood the need to embrace vulnerability as both a photographer and a human being. Letting go of the need for perfection was essential. He had spent too long striving for an unattainable ideal, one that often left him feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from the very subjects he aimed to capture. He recalled moments during the wedding where he had hesitated, where he had felt the pressure of expectations overshadowing the beauty of the moment. It was in those instances that he realized he needed to prioritize authenticity over perfection. As the night wore on, Elijah found himself enveloped in the warmth of his thoughts. The quiet stillness of his home allowed him to ponder the deeper meanings behind the connections he had witnessed. He thought about the role of storytelling in photography, the way images could transcend time and space, evoking emotions and memories long after the event had passed. Each photograph he took was a snapshot of life, a fragment of a larger story that intertwined with the lives of those it represented. This understanding fueled his passion further. He envisioned future weddings not just as opportunities to capture beautiful images, but as chances to immerse himself in the stories unfolding before him. He imagined himself moving through the celebrations, not as a distant observer, but as an active participant in the joy and connection around him. He would strive to engage with his clients, to understand their journeys and aspirations, so that he could truly reflect their essence in his work. In his reflections, he recognized that this would not be an easy journey. Embracing vulnerability and letting go of the need for perfection required courage and openness. Elijah thought about the moments of self-doubt that had plagued him throughout his career, the fear of judgment, the desire for validation. But he understood that true connection could only be forged through authenticity and honesty. If he could allow himself to be vulnerable, to connect with others on a deeper level, he would not only enrich his work but also cultivate meaningful relationships that extended beyond the lens. The following day, as he began to edit the images from the wedding, Elijah approached the task with a renewed sense of purpose. He carefully sifted through the hundreds of photos he had taken, selecting those that resonated most with the emotions of the day. Each click of the mouse felt deliberate as he recognized the stories unfolding within the frames. He focused on those intimate moments, the laughter shared between the couple, the tears of joy from family members, and the candid interactions that captured the spirit of the celebration. As he edited, he allowed himself to indulge in the memories associated with each image. He could almost hear the laughter echoing in the background, feel the warmth of the love that enveloped the room. He realized that the images were not just photographs. They were pieces of history, moments frozen in time that would resonate for generations to come. One photograph in particular caught his attention, a candid shot of Emily and Jack sharing a quiet moment together amidst the hustle and bustle of the reception. Their faces were illuminated by soft light, their expressions filled with joy and love. As he enhanced the image, he felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. This was what he had sought to capture, the genuine connection between two people in love, a connection that transcended the chaos of the day. Elijah knew that this moment was a testament to the power of vulnerability. He had let go of his inhibitions and allowed himself to immerse in the beauty of the celebration. In doing so, he had captured something truly special, something that would resonate with the couple and their loved ones long after the wedding day had passed. With each photograph, he made a conscious effort to highlight the connections present in the images. He used soft filters to evoke warmth, ensuring that the emotions of love, joy, and celebration radiated from the frames. He meticulously curated the album layout, weaving together the narrative of the day, starting with the couple's preparations, the ceremony, the heartfelt toasts, and finally, the energetic dance floor moments. Each section of the album would tell a story, capturing not just the events, but the connections that made those moments unforgettable. As he completed the edits, Elijah felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had poured his heart into the work, allowing his understanding of connection to shape every decision he made. He knew that the album would be a true reflection of Emily and Jack's love story, and he couldn't wait to present it to them. When the day came to deliver the finished album, Elijah felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He arrived at the couple's home, carrying the carefully packaged album, his heart racing with anticipation. As he knocked on the door, he couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come. He had learned to embrace connection, vulnerability, and authenticity, and now he was eager to see how they would resonate with Emily and Jack. As the door opened, he was greeted by the beaming faces of the couple, their eyes sparkling with joy. "Elijah, we've been so excited to see the photos," Emily exclaimed, pulling him into a warm embrace. Elijah felt the genuine affection radiating from them, and in that moment, he knew he had succeeded in capturing the essence of their love. He handed over the album, watching as their eyes widened in anticipation. With each turn of the page, he observed the emotions unfold: laughter, tears, and tender moments of nostalgia. Elijah felt a sense of pride as they pointed out their favorite images, reliving the memories and connections that had defined their day. "This is amazing, Elijah. You captured everything perfectly," Jack said, his voice filled with appreciation. "We couldn't have asked for anything more." Their words washed over him like a wave of validation, affirming the journey he had taken to prioritize connection over perfection. As the couple continued to explore the album, Elijah took a moment to reflect on the impact of his work. He realized that photography was not merely about capturing images, but about fostering connections that transcended time and space. He had embraced the power of vulnerability, allowing himself to be present in their love story, and in doing so, he had created something meaningful. After their initial excitement subsided, Emily looked up at him, her expression sincere. "Thank you for being such an integral part of our day. You didn't just take pictures, you told our story." Elijah's heart swelled at her words. He understood that this was his true purpose, to be a storyteller, to honor the connections that bind people together. In the following weeks, as he shared the album with friends, family, and fellow photographers, Elijah began to notice a shift within himself. He felt more confident in his artistic vision and more willing to embrace vulnerability in his work. He no longer sought validation through external expectations. Instead, he found fulfillment in the connections he fostered with his clients. With this newfound understanding, Elijah's approach to photography evolved. He began to prioritize connection in all aspects of his life, not just through his work, but also in his personal relationships. He sought to create genuine connections with his friends and family, recognizing that it was these connections that brought depth and meaning to life. As he continued to capture weddings and special events, Elijah found himself more attuned to the emotions unfolding around him. He learned to listen actively, to engage with couples and their families, and to create an environment where everyone felt comfortable expressing themselves. He discovered that the more he connected with his clients, the more authentic and meaningful his work became. In time, Elijah built a reputation for being not just a photographer, but a storyteller. His clients appreciated his ability to capture the heart and soul of their celebrations, to create images that resonated deeply with their experiences. Word spread, and soon, he found himself in high demand. But amidst the growing success, Elijah remained grounded. He never forgot the lessons he had learned that pivotal evening: the importance of connection, the power of vulnerability, and the beauty of authenticity. He continued to prioritize relationships with his clients, ensuring that each shoot was not just a job, but a collaboration that honored their stories. Years later, as he looked back on his journey, Elijah understood that the power of connection had not only transformed his work, but had also enriched his life. The relationships he had built, the stories he had captured, and the memories he had created all contributed to a life filled with purpose and meaning. In the end, Elijah Davis became more than just a photographer. He became a curator of connections, a storyteller weaving together the threads of love, joy, and human experience. And as he continued to navigate the beautiful complexities of life and art, he knew that the heart of his craft would always lie in the profound connections that bind us all together. Elijah Davis stood on the threshold of his studio, the soft morning light filtering through the window and illuminating the scattered photographs that lined the walls. Each image told a story, snapshots of love, laughter, and life moments that transcended the boundaries of time. However, as he prepared for the day's shoots, he felt an unshakable sense of trepidation stirring within him. This feeling was not new. It had become a familiar companion since his journey toward embracing vulnerability and authenticity began. The realization struck him one afternoon during a particularly challenging wedding shoot. As he had navigated the delicate dance of capturing intimate moments, Elijah had felt a shift within himself, a growing awareness of the importance of authenticity in his craft. He remembered how he had arrived at that wedding, filled with anticipation and a desire to capture every detail perfectly. Yet, the pressure to meet his own high expectations had begun to overshadow the joy of the moment. In the past, he had viewed vulnerability as a weakness, an opening for criticism and failure. However, as he reflected on his experiences, he recognized that vulnerability was, in fact, a source of strength. It allowed him to connect with others on a deeper level, to capture emotions that resonated beyond the surface. It was through embracing vulnerability that he had begun to truly see the beauty and imperfection, both in himself and in the lives of those he photographed. The day of the wedding had been a whirlwind, filled with laughter and tears. He recalled the moment when the couple, Emily and Jack, exchanged their vows, surrounded by friends and family. Elijah had felt the weight of their love in that moment, but he had also felt the pressure to capture it flawlessly. As he stood behind the camera, he realized that he had almost forgotten to be present, to truly feel the emotions that surrounded him. It was only during the reception, as the couple danced under the twinkling lights, that he had fully embraced his vulnerability. He had put down the camera for a moment, allowing himself to become part of the celebration. The laughter of friends, the joyous shouts of family members, and the sweet sound of music enveloped him, creating a bubble of warmth and connection. In that instant, he understood that true authenticity lay in being present, being vulnerable enough to engage with the emotions around him. As he revisited this memory in the comfort of his studio, Elijah felt a renewed sense of purpose. He picked up his camera, turning it over in his hands as he contemplated how he could incorporate this understanding into his upcoming sessions. He recognized that each shoot presented an opportunity not only to create beautiful images, but also to foster authentic connections with his clients. He wanted to be more than just a photographer. He aspired to be a storyteller who could weave narratives that resonated with the heart. In the following weeks, as Elijah embarked on various shoots, he made a conscious effort to embrace vulnerability in every interaction. He began by building rapport with his clients, taking the time to learn about their stories, their dreams, and their emotions. He discovered that engaging with them on a personal level enriched the experience for both parties, creating an atmosphere of trust that allowed for more authentic moments to unfold. During one particular engagement shoot, he worked with a couple named Mia and Lucas. From the moment they arrived, Elijah sensed their nervousness, an apprehension that is often felt in front of the camera. Sensing their vulnerability, he took a moment to share his own experiences, recounting how he, too, felt vulnerable in front of the lens when he was photographed. By opening up about his insecurities, he created a safe space for them to share their own, helping them to relax and connect with each other. Elijah guided them through the session, encouraging them to share their favorite memories and the story behind their relationship. As they laughed and reminisced, he captured their candid moments, glances filled with love, gentle touches, and bursts of laughter. The images he created were a testament to their connection, showcasing their authenticity and the beauty that arises when people allow themselves to be vulnerable. That day, Elijah learned that vulnerability is a two-way street. By being open about his feelings and experiences, he empowered his clients to embrace their own vulnerability. The result was a beautiful synergy that produced stunning images, filled with genuine emotions and connections. He realized that vulnerability not only deepened the storytelling aspect of his photography, but also fostered a sense of community among his clients. They were all navigating the complexities of life together, and through shared experiences, they formed bonds that transcended the confines of the photo session. As he continued to explore the concept of vulnerability in his work, Elijah began to recognize the transformative power it held in his personal life as well. He found himself seeking more authentic connections in his relationships with friends and family. Rather than hiding behind a facade of strength, he started to share his struggles and insecurities, allowing those around him to see the real Elijah. This shift deepened his relationships and created a sense of solidarity and understanding among his loved ones. During a gathering with close friends, Elijah opened up about his fears of failure and self-doubt in his photography career. To his surprise, his friends responded with their own stories of vulnerability, sharing their struggles and the challenges they faced in their lives. The conversation transformed from lighthearted banter to a heartfelt exchange of experiences, and Elijah felt an overwhelming sense of connection. It was as if the walls he had built around himself began to crumble, replaced by a newfound sense of camaraderie and support. This experience underscored a powerful lesson: vulnerability breeds connection. When individuals are willing to share their authentic selves, it fosters an environment where others feel safe to do the same. Elijah realized that this principle extended beyond his work as a photographer. It permeated every aspect of life, shaping the way he interacted with the world around him. As he embraced vulnerability, Elijah also found himself confronting the societal stigma surrounding it. Many individuals view vulnerability as a weakness, a concept perpetuated by cultural norms that prioritize strength and stoicism. However, he understood that vulnerability is not synonymous with weakness. Rather, it is an essential part of the human experience. It is a testament to one's courage and willingness to engage with the world authentically. Through his photography, Elijah aimed to challenge this misconception. He sought to capture moments of vulnerability in his work, showcasing the raw, unfiltered emotions that define the human experience. He aimed to highlight the beauty in moments of uncertainty, the strength found in honesty, and the power of connection that arises when people allow themselves to be seen. One project he embarked upon was a series of portraits featuring individuals from diverse backgrounds, each sharing their personal stories of vulnerability. As he photographed them, Elijah engaged them in conversations about their experiences, exploring the challenges they had faced and the lessons they had learned. The resulting images were striking, each portrait capturing not only the individual's likeness, but also the essence of their journey, their struggles, and their triumphs. Through this project, Elijah witnessed the transformative power of storytelling. Each individual he photographed experienced a cathartic release as they shared their stories, allowing them to reflect on their own journeys and the strength they had found in vulnerability. It was a powerful reminder that everyone has a story worth telling, and that vulnerability can serve as a bridge that connects us all. As he shared these portraits with the world, Elijah saw the impact of his work resonate beyond his immediate circle. The images sparked conversations about vulnerability, authenticity, and the importance of embracing our true selves. People began to share their own stories, inspired by the courage of those who had opened up before them. Elijah felt a profound sense of fulfillment knowing that his work was not only capturing moments, but also fostering connections and encouraging others to embrace their vulnerability. With each passing day, Elijah continued to grow in his understanding of vulnerability and authenticity. He recognized that it was a lifelong journey, one that required ongoing reflection, engagement, and openness. It was not always easy, but he had learned that true strength lies in embracing vulnerability, for it is within those moments of honesty that we discover our deepest connections with others. As the seasons changed, so did Elijah's photography. He found himself gravitating towards projects that resonated with his newfound understanding of vulnerability. He sought to capture not only joyful celebrations but also moments of resilience and strength in the face of adversity. He envisioned projects that would tell the stories of individuals overcoming challenges, of communities coming together to support one another, and of the beauty found in shared human experiences. One project that particularly stood out was a collaboration with a local nonprofit organization focused on mental health awareness. Elijah had been deeply moved by the stories of individuals who had struggled with mental health challenges, and he wanted to shed light on their experiences through his photography. He reached out to the organization and proposed a series of portraits that would showcase the resilience and strength of those living with mental health conditions. Over several weeks, he met with individuals willing to share their stories and be photographed. Each session was a transformative experience, not only for the subjects but also for Elijah. He listened intently as they opened up about their struggles, fears, and the journey to finding hope and healing. In turn, he shared his own experiences, creating a space where vulnerability was welcomed and celebrated. The resulting portraits were powerful and moving, capturing the essence of each individual's journey. Elijah incorporated elements that reflected their stories, objects that held significance, settings that represented their experiences, and expressions that conveyed their emotions. He aimed to honor their vulnerability while also celebrating their strength. When the portraits were unveiled at a community exhibition, the impact was palpable. People were drawn to the images, moved by the stories behind each photograph. Conversations erupted about mental health, vulnerability, and the importance of creating spaces for honest dialogue. Elijah felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that his work had sparked meaningful conversations and fostered connections within the community. In the years that followed, Elijah continued to embrace vulnerability in all aspects of his life. He remained committed to capturing authentic moments through his photography while also seeking opportunities to engage with others on a deeper level. He recognized that vulnerability was not a destination but a continuous journey, a path filled with both challenges and rewards. Reflecting on his evolution as an artist and a person, Elijah understood that vulnerability had become a cornerstone of his identity. It had reshaped his approach to photography, transformed his relationships, and ignited a passion for storytelling that extended beyond the lens. He realized that vulnerability is a universal thread that binds us all, weaving together our shared experiences and the complexities of being human. As he stood in his studio, surrounded by the vibrant stories captured in his photographs, Elijah smiled, knowing that he had found strength in his authenticity. He understood that embracing vulnerability was not merely a choice, but a powerful act of courage. And as he continued to navigate the intricate tapestry of life and art, he remained committed to fostering connections, sharing stories, and celebrating the beauty that lies within our shared vulnerability.
Disclaimer: this channel does not support or tolerate any form of discrimination, racism, prejudice, or violation of human rights. The stories presented here are original and created by the author with the aim of promoting reflection, awareness, and dialogue. All content is developed with respect for diversity and the dignity of all people.